Hello, my name is Yemi and I would love to invite you to join me on the Japa Code. The Japa Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to Japa, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the rules, routes and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Women Network on YouTube. The Japa Code is brought to you by Wimbo Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment. Welcome to the Japa Code. Thank you so much for joining me on the show today. So I usually have this issue with my face. I'm trying to just bring it on. Where am I? Yeah, there I am. Awesome. So, I'm always about the issue of financial planning, and today's episode promises to be exciting. Our guest is right here in the green room. I think it's the white room right now. He's in the white room, waiting to be let in. Our financial expert based in Canada. I want to speak to us about financial planning for migrants. Very, very fantastic topic. So I'm going to just bring in our guest right now, and we'll tear down this issue of financial planning. Is a critical part for migrants. A lot of us are coming from nations, Nigeria or any other nations you're coming from, to go to the West with a different orientation when it comes to financial matters. For sometimes we might even fit our own with a fit and small, but outside there is a bit more practical, a bit more systematic, and so it's best for you to understand the importance of it and maybe adopt it to your life right here in your home country. All right, so I'm going to bring in our guest right now onto the show. His name is Tunde Obasa. Hey, how you doing, sir?
I'm very well. How are you, Ian?
Very well, thank you as well. Thank you. Great to have you join us on the program today. It's your topic, it's your show. You are the financial people. Me, I'm not financial. I'm just, I'm the spender, but the planners. And I think the essentials of planning is very critical. What do you think?
Yeah, it's absolutely important in every sphere of life. Planning is critical in everything you do. Even the Holy Scriptures will tell you that any man that wants to build a house will first have to count the cost, to see if you can finish it up or you can't. So that they will not laugh at you and say, look at that foolish man that started to build a house and couldn't finish it. So it's critical in everything. Planning is everything. It's in most cases planning is actually 60% of the work in every area of your life. So if you plan out your finances, the likelihood that you'll be successful financially is also very high. Yeah.
Fantastic. I love that. It's critical. It's so happening again, I must say. It's not a popular thing, although it's in our DNA, but the system really doesn't as much encourage us in Africa to to settle in on the financial planning as important as it is. And for a migrant, we know that going into the West, that's where their life is all about. That's the anchor of everything. If you don't plan for your finances, you're going to hit the rocks. You're going to hit the rocks. So, wanted to just explain to us, you're based in Canada, and I'm certain that you are a financial expert in your rights, working with all the everybody in the world, everybody. So, let us know, how important is financial planning, as a migrant? I mean, in your own view, how important is this?
Yeah, thank you. Yeah, so first of all, I'd say that you're correct. I'm a financial expert, a professional accountant, and it's good I have this call so that I can help, immigrants that are looking to find their way, to the West, right? But I'm speaking first of all from this perspective of immigrants coming to Canada. And secondly, I'll be speaking from my personal and individual capacity and not necessarily from a professional capacity, right? So it's basically help, and it's good to lay that out there, right? So to the question about planning, like I said earlier, planning for your finances is everything. You might have a plan and the plan doesn't turn out as you put it down on paper or as you envisaged it, but that doesn't in any way obviate the need to plan properly when you're taking a venture, especially like relocating from your home country to the West, right? So first of all, I'd like to say that relocating has the different avenues. Like coming to Canada, for example, you have different routes. You can come in through the one that a lot of us took advantage of, which was the permanent residency route. And more recently, people are using the route of schooling to come in, and then if they get a job, they can then get a work permit and then transit to permanent residency. So that's a lot of those are the different routes people are using to immigrate, and each of it has um, its own financial requirements, right? But basically and generally, when you're looking to relocate, you need to ensure that you have the resources. You need to ensure that you have the resources, and it's not a mean feat to say you are leaving a country like Nigeria and trying to move to other countries. So basically, it's something that you need to have locked down. So if you're coming in through the schooling, you need to make sure that you have your tuition in place, your living expenses. um, you need to ensure that your rent is taken care of. You need to ensure that your day-to-day living is also factored into the finances, because when you come into a country that is new, you never know what you're going to meet, right? You never know whether you get the kind of support you had back home in Nigeria. It's like an experiment, basically. So you need to make sure that you have your finances in lockdown. You can also, so it depends on also, like I've seen people come in and they look at it and say, okay, I have the resources to come in first, and I can come in, get a job, and then bring my family in. So all of that needs to be factored into your planning. What's going to be your approach based on your resources, right? So that's really what everyone needs to put in context. Um, so, and again, one of the challenges you would have is, you have to deal with the exchange rates, right? It's something that you need to plan, because coming into a foreign country, it's the exchange rate is something you need to. I remember when I first came in, I was always calculating in naira. If I bought something, I'll convert it to naira, and before I swipe, and I'll tell my wife that I can't do this right now because when I convert it and I see what it's costing me in naira, it's a lot. So it's something that everyone needs to be aware of, right? Um, you need to quickly, as much as possible. I've seen people that are coming in who already started to apply for jobs back from their home country. So that's something you need to take cognizance of. Like, you can start to look for job sites, recruiters, get on LinkedIn, make sure you are signed up on LinkedIn, connect with people that are already in the system, who can help you to settle in terms of getting a job, because it's also very critical to ensure that you don't run out of capital before you start to earn. So I've seen people even get jobs from Nigeria when they're coming into Canada. So it's something you can do. Networking is everything here. Connecting with people, make sure you are ready. Some more people also learn some trades, right? I remember, I'm not a very handy person, but I know people that came in and they learned either hairdressing or barbing or painting. Those artisanal jobs they also earn a lot of money here. So you need to make sure that you are ready. You don't just drop in without any skill or any certification or any experience that you can transfer from your home country to, say, Canada, UK, or America. So you need to make sure that you have something you can do, right? Because especially here, right, a lot of those jobs we think are nothing, like we don't pay well back home, they actually earn a lot. If you're a plumber, you can earn quite a lot of money here in Canada, right? In fact, they earn more money. Some of them earn more money than the white collar people, those of us that are white collar, employees. So it's something that you can also, and that's part of the planning, right? So you can take your time, learn a trade, learn a skill that you can bring here and that you can transfer aside your regular certification. The other thing about getting a job is that you have to ensure that that you do the equivalency, right? Your Nigerian certificate, you need to make sure that it's you do what they call your Canadian equivalency, and I believe that they might have something like that also in the UK, which just tells the employer that whatever degree you have has its equivalent in Canada or in the UK, and they can rely on your certification to give you a job, right? So that's basically how it starts. Yemi, are you there? Yeah. So
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm here. I'm with
are
you.
the things you need
That's
to quickly
fantastic.
take into cognizance: your finances,
Yes,
make
yes,
sure you have the finances, and
yes.
then quickly start to look for how to get something doing, because of the exchange rate, you can quickly run out of capital, and if you don't get something doing, you
Yes.
might find yourself stuck. Yeah.
Okay, so is it a plan your finances, but
Mhm.
plan your finances or budgeting, as the case might be? Is it that before you begin to look for the income, or as the income come, you plan how to spend the income? Which comes first?
So I'd say they go hand in hand because when you
Okay.
decided to leave your home country, you it wasn't a one day decision. It's probably for me it was at least a 1.5 year decision from when I started the
Mm.
planning to when I when I finally moved
Okay.
on and left
Okay,
here.
what I wanted to find out, and what I wanted to really ask is the element of budgeting as concerns financial planning.
Yeah.
So if there's expected to be a kind of code, a systemic code that is adoptable anywhere you are, and I'm talking of a person who has not lived in the culture of planning his finances in the sense of the
Mm.
word, that you can say, for instance, you were an accountant from right from Nigeria before you got out there, and when you got there, what extra addition or edits did you have to do to your financial structure that when you got there you had to change? If you understand what I'm trying to say, if you had to
Yes.
budget a, sake of discussion, a 30% on tax, sake of discussion, 30% on paying your taxes, a 30% of your income on feeding. So if you get to any country, then that system can be adoptable across. Because one of the things that we try to say to people is the life you're going to live outside of the country when you relocate, you must attempt to start doing that life in your home country. If you are the type that is always turning the ears of your children, you need to stop turning the ears of your children here now. If you are the type that's always coming late and shouting at your wife and raising a hand and all those kind of things, if you don't culture yourself here now, you're going to have a problem when you get. So if you want to tell anybody who is planning to relocate, what should be your financial orientation in terms of your planning financially right now? That's what I'm trying to find out.
So I think the point is that they are different environments. Nigeria and
Mm,
the Canada and the UK are entirely different environments. What you see a lot happening in the West is that people live from paycheck to paycheck, and
mm.
that is the reality. Because by the time you get your pay, you've got your rent. And rent, for example, I would say, I'll give you an example. One strange thing I found out that when I landed here, my 1 year rent in Nigeria was 2 months rent in Canada. That's how serious it is, right? It's 2 months rent. I even had to kind of I don't know the word to use, kind of downsize in terms of the kind of house I first
The
started
amount of
living.
rooms that you,
Exactly. Yeah, so you
yes,
might have find
yes.
yourself having to downsize in terms of certain things. I had two cars in Nigeria, one for my wife, one for myself. When I got to Canada, it was inevitable. We just had to use one car. So these are some of the things you would find changing, right? Which is
Mm,
because of the peculiarity of the environment you're in. So I would say, in a nutshell, that when you're trying to make this transition, you need to also kind of speak to people who have made those moves to understand what are your daily expenses, what are your monthly expenses, how much do you have to set aside for groceries, for example, how much do I have to set aside for this. So that gives you the bottom line, which is your expenditure, and it is from there you can then plan the income.
Can I ask you? Can I ask you? Give us a similitude between your planning in Nigeria, in terms of your budget in Nigeria, as concern your budget in the UK. In practical, if you can give us in percentage or something that can help somebody watching to say that there's the difference between this and this, something like that. Particularly as it concerns Canada.
Yes, also for Canada, like the first thing, again, I go back to that same point, is that your income also is not the same. If you're working, for example, your income is not the same. If you're earning 1 million naira in Nigeria per month, let's say, for example, that's probably just maybe 1,005 Canadian dollars. But you probably earning 3,000. The average person earns 4,000, 5,000 Canadian dollars a month. So you see where the difference is in terms of income and expenditure. But I would say here in Canada, right? So there are differences. While in Nigeria, my rent was, let's say, 20% of my monthly expense if I prorate it.
Okay.
20%.
Okay.
Here in Canada, it's probably 50% of your expense.
Wow, that's on rent. You're not on mortgage? You're not on mortgage at all, are you?
On rent. That's on rent. So if you're lucky, if you get a mortgage also, that can you might be lucky. Actually, your mortgage for most people is just substituting your rent, and then you're building your equity in the property. So
yes.
But in terms of living, it's about 50% of whatever you earn, or it could be more. It could be 60%. So that leaves you, and then groceries. Groceries also, I'd say groceries will be about par with them in terms of spend in Nigeria and here. In terms of percentage, right? It's about par. Let's say another 15% will be good for groceries of your income. 15-20% will go for groceries. Difference would now be that your disposable income for what we call faji in Nigeria, if you allow me to use that word, going out, it might be lower. So that's where we kind of adjust, right? You don't have people, and then again, you also find out that most people, when they get here, they kind of initially, to allow them settle down, they are giving, in terms of giving out to people, giving back home, you find that shrink until they stabilize. So those are some of the adjustments you might need to make. So, but note that the largest expense anybody makes here is in the rent. And then utilities also. So yeah.
I know from what I've heard, we are based here in Nigeria. I know for certain that even in the UK, housing is really crazy right now. And so if you're able to build up equity, like you said, and to be able to get a mortgage, it's in your best interest. Well, before you go now, as an individual, but if you're a couple, as a couple coming together, the pressure on your percentage of income for the rents also, does it also get affected? Because now your two resources.
That's a very good. Yes, that's a very good point you're making here, Femi, because that also helps. Here we look at family income. So if you're married, the disparity in income, like for me as an individual, the disparity in income between myself and my spouse is not the same when in Canada and I believe so in the UK, because there's minimum wage here, which is I won't say substantial, which is just okay, and then there's no, and again, because my experience here and high experience, the gap in Nigeria, I realized that there's a disparity between high income earners and low income earners. That's not the case here. That disparity is not all that much. So you see yourself bringing up your resources together, right? And then that also helps with terms of budgeting. But don't forget also, the more the hands, the more the people, the more the kids, the more your utilities, the more your groceries. But in terms of your big overhead, like your rent, Again, also rent,
Mm.
because you could decide to take a studio as a one man, as an individual that is not married.
Yeah, compared to as a couple.
Exactly. So I mean, it's in terms of balancing both. You need to get to a level where both parties, that's the husband and the wife, are working. There's
Mm.
no case of you saying, "Oh, okay, don't worry, you just flex for a
I
while."
got this.
You can't do that, right? So that also helps. Family income is really something we always look at here. Yeah.
Yes, yes. I think it's brilliant. I love this. I love this. So a lot of people, so please, we encourage everybody to strengthen their home, strengthen your family. Don't go and be fighting. Don't go and be saying your income, well, it is our income. Of course,
Yes.
at the end of the day, everybody would expect to increase your income because, like we said, there are fundamental payments. You spoke
Yes.
about the rent. Nothing is going to shake. There's no prayer that is going to affect the rent. It is going to come because the person that gave you a house, there are also laws guarding
Yeah.
that person in terms of collection of rent and all of that. I think it's been brilliant. If we've given an overall percentage spread, we have a 50% of your income for rent, like you said, 50-60% of income for rent. Prepared to do that. Now, if two of you are coming together, can we assume that to be like 25% of each of your?
Correct. It will land somewhere between 30% thereabout, yeah, of your family income.
Okay, 30. So we say, let's say the pool is larger now. So 30% as a couple,
Yes.
30% of your income. Then you have your groceries. You made it at 15% before. We do make it
It
like
will still,
20,
probably
25%.
be around. It will still be probably around 10% of your. Now, if you're a couple, it will probably be around 10% of your family income too. Yeah.
10%. Fantastic. And then your bills,
Your
your
utility,
tax. What's
your
that? Your
utility.
tax is individual.
So tax is quite is so the way they do the taxes here is they deduct at source. So
Mhm.
especially if you're an employee, it's only when you are a contractor or a business owner that you pay your tax.
You have to file
Yeah,
yourself,
you have to
yes.
file your taxes. Correct. You know the words. So, but if it's if you're an employee, they deduct at source. So it's already taken out at the source. And when you file your taxes at the end of the year, you could get a refund, But I mean, we'll get into that, but I just didn't want to
Yes, yes. We're going to be talking about the element of tax, and then we also know that you also can share something about what's the other topic that we're going to talk about as well? The
Yeah,
other
it's
one you were
about
going to share.
credit scoring, which is also yeah,
Credit, fantastic, fantastic. You know what? We're already running out of time right now, and I must thank you for these basic things you have shared. I think a lot of people need to just enter into this zone. Like I said again, it's more profitable for us to be in this zone,
yeah,
to adopt this kind of style here back home in Nigeria, not till we get there, because it's very helpful when you're able to understand that it's one pulse that everybody fits on. And the hula baloo of making all the money and your wife stay at home and doing nothing is not helping anybody. It's not helping that, it's not helping. So you should be able to all get into the stream
yeah,
and add value to yourself by work, add
yeah.
value to your family by bringing resources in, and it helps the entire family to grow together. Tunde Obasa, so grateful for your time with us today. Super excited that you're able to share this moment with us, and I'm certain that very soon, those two topics you are going to talk about it. So we're going to bring you back again to share on these two topics: the issue of credit facility, to be able to get so many beautiful things, and the element of taxation. How does it work for those of people who are in Canada? Canada is a great country. You're looking very fresh. You're different. See me, I'm fresh.
No, you are looking fresh now.
Yeah, you know what I'm saying? It's all good. All right. Thank you so much for your time. We're going to.
Just as a last chicken for those planning to emigrate, learn a skill, learn a trade. If it's going to be Barbie, you will be amazed how much you can earn from barber will earn here. You'll be amazed how much a plumber will earn. You'll be amazed how much an artisan, a hairdresser will earn. So if you take your time as part of your planning to learn those skills, you won't be stranded when you get here. You always find something doing. And then make sure that if you're a couple, you guys are together, you have that unified front, such that there's no you are just the driver as the man, you're not the boss here. So you are just the one in front, and you guys are channeling together
with
the same objective. So that's something I'd also chip in here.
Oh my goodness. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. We have a bit of a glitch technically. I'm so grateful. Thank you so much. Thank you. Thank you. We'll definitely, you are coming back again. So just be expecting us to reach back to you. Those other two topics, we need to talk about it. Thank you so much today. Grateful. Thank you. Thank you so much. Thank you. All right. Awesome. All right, everyone. So it's been a great time we've having today here today. It's been a beautiful topic we've had. Fantastic talking about financial planning for migrants. He's speaking to us experience as from Canada, and it's basically fundamentally the same thing. And we're going to go for a quick break right now, a word from our partners, and then I would round up the program today. Stay with us. I'll be right back.
The National Electronic Labour Exchange is a unit in the International Labour Migration in the Employment and Wages Department of the Federal Ministry of Labour and Employment. The centers are information hubs for the public to meet demands of employment, referral, labor rights, recruitment advice, support, and all employment-related issues, with the aim of educating and enlightening the public on workplace and employment issues, as well as ensuring protection and decent work. Our target audience are students, all categories of migrants, and the general public. For more details, email us on jobcenterlagos@gmail.com. You can also follow us on Facebook, a National Electronic Labour Exchange, YouTube, a National Electronic Labour Exchange.
Hello, my name is Yemi, and I would love to invite you to join me on the Japa Code. The Japa Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to Japa, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the rules, routes, and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Women Network on YouTube. The Japa Code is brought to you by Women Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment.
Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Thank you so much. Just bringing the show to a close now. Never forget our package as Women Consult to qualify applicants, interested applicants in living and working overseas to become carers. If you're interested in taking care of the elderly, the vulnerables, those who might not be able to take care of them, support them to live their life, and you would like to do that work overseas, there are opportunities at the moment. A lot of countries are open to such. So if you're interested, we can help you. We have the online training that we'll give to you. And of course, the work experience, physical, of course, work experience in Lagos with, scrubs and the likes of them we're going to give to you as well. At the end of the work experience, you'll be having a reference letter from our care home, credible care home, to give you the letter as well. There are two things that get you qualified. One is a training, which gives you a certificate, recognizable certificate in the CPD recognized certificate, adoptable in the UK, Canada, US, they all accept such certificates as well. Of course, the reference letter. By coming through us, you also have access to other resources with us. Our care training is person-centered and employer-focused. We are carers, and we're not just training you to just go. We are part of the system as well. So if you want to get in touch with us, do well to just reach out to us on the number displayed on the screen. All right, our number is there, our email is there, and of course, you can get in touch with us on the social media as well. If you're interested in this, reach out to us. Thank you so much. It's been a great episode today. I had so much fun and talking to Tunde Obasa, a financial expert from Canada. All right, I'm certain that we're going to bring him again, most likely maybe next week or so. We're going to bring him again to speak to us on the other two parts as well. Maybe one of them, and we might have him more than twice to speak to us on these topics. Thank you so much. A great time I've had today, and I wish you all the very best. And see you again next time. Bye-bye.
Hello, my name is Yemi, and I would love to invite you to join me on the Japa Code. The Japa Code is your ultimate guide to legally migrating from Nigeria to your dream destination. If you desire to Japa, we've got you covered. We'll bring you expert advice and insider tips to help you navigate the rules, routes, and resources required to make that dream a reality. Join me this Sunday at 5 p.m. on the Women Network on YouTube. The Japa Code is brought to you by Wimbo Consults in partnership with the Migrant Resource Center, Federal Ministry of Labor and Employment.